In the great forest of Noctivier, the trees stood strong and wide, their twisting branches curling and uncurling like sleepy limbs whenever the wind slipped through them. Sunlight streamed down in soft golden ribbons, warming patches of moss and filling the air with the scent of rich soil and berries. A gentle hush blanketed everything, quiet, peaceful, broken only by the rustle of leaves and the distant singing of birds. Beside a thick cluster of shrubs, a family of rabbits foraged. They were larger than ordinary rabbits, walking upright when it suited them, dropping to all fours only when speed demanded it. The mother, her fur soft and gray as storm clouds, searched shrubs for berries. Plump red bobaberries that glistened like tiny gems. The father, dark and earthy in color, unearthed a truffle from beneath a gnarled tree. Their young one, a little rabbit, with flopped ears and fur like a blend of his parents', copied every move with all the seriousness any small creature could muster. "Like this?" the young one squeaked, holding up a berry smudged across his paw. "Perfect, little one," the mother murmured warmly. But then a faint sound drifted through the trees, a soft hiccuping sob. The rabbits froze, ears twitched, the mother stiffened. The father lowered his pouch, claws flexing. The young one pressed close to Ho's mother's side. Another broken sob. "Something's crying," the father whispered. They followed the sound through the mossy undergrowth until the trees opened into a small meadow washed in warm sunlight. In the center sat a little human girl, hugging her knees, shoulders trembling. Her messy dark braid hung to one side, her blue dress and pink sneakers smudged with dirt. The mother rabbit's breath caught softly. "A human," she said with a hint of wonder. The girl lifted her head at the bunny's squeak. Her tear-swollen eyes widened at the sight of rabbits standing upright like people, staring at her. "Don't cry," the young rabbit said gently. "We're nice." You can talk," the girl whispered. "We can. Are you hurt, little one?" the mother said as she stepped forward, her voice warm as a lullaby. The girl shook her head, but tears brimmed again. "My, Mommy," she started and looked around. I'm lost," she stammered as she stifled her sobbing. "Is your mother nearby?" the father asked softly. She looked down at her shoes and shook her head as a tear splashed onto the rock beneath her. Something in the forest shifted, just a breath, just a subtle tremor, like the land itself was listening. A faint hum seemed to stir through the moss, then fade again before the rabbits could place it. The rabbit couple looked at each other. Then the mother, unsettled, nudged her child. "Why don't you show her the berries?" she said encouragingly. The little rabbit's ears perked. "Come with me," he chirped, holding up a berry sticky with juice. The girl hesitated, then slid off the rock and followed him. He tossed her a berry and she fumbled the catch. He giggled. She laughed, a small, shaky laugh, but real. The meadow brightened. Yet something faint lingered at its edges, a stillness like the forest holding its breath. From afar, the parents watched the two children. "Should we tell the elder?" the mother whispered. The father nodded. I'll leave tonight," he murmured and looked on. Days had passed, and the young human child stayed with the rabbit family, following them through the great forest each day. She and the young rabbit, nearly the same height, became inseparable. They chased each other between tree roots. They gathered berries and truffles. They counted stars through a crack in the roof of their hollow log shelter. She laughed often, but whenever memories tugged her back toward home, her smile trembled, and the faint hum returned, never long, never loud, but present, as if something stirred beneath the earth while she hurt. On the third night, lying beneath the hollow log, the young rabbit and the human child lay searching the stars. "Do you have a mama and papa too?" the young rabbit asked. The human child rolled to her side and looked away. My mommy says he's not gonna be with us anymore," she replied, and her body started to softly shake. Tears began to form. The rabbit mother crawled close, nuzzling her gently. At dawn, the father had returned from the village, his pouch heavy and his steps slow. "The council waits at the forest's edge," he said to the mother. "They will help take her home." "No, she can't go," the young rabbit squeaked in horror. Fear flared in the girl's eyes, the same raw fear from the day they found her. "No, I don't want to go home," her voice cracked. She bolted into the trees. The rabbits raced after her. She burst into the same meadow where she'd first appeared, then fell to her knees. "I don't want to go," she cried, pounding the ground. "I don't want to go." And the land responded. At first, it was only the hum, deeper now, vibrating through the soil. Then, the air above her rippled. A thin, jagged line of darkness flickered into existence from her, as if pulled straight from her chest, and shot upward like a bolt. Far above the canopy, unseen by the rabbits, the sky flashed a deep purple black, staining the horizon in a ring that spanned the entire world. From that ring, darkness spilled downward, around the far reaches of the earth, pouring like ink sliding down a bowl's edges, forming a seamless enclosure, a wall far off in the distance. Then silence. The sky above the meadow returned to normal, blue and bright, as if nothing had happened. The rabbits felt only the quaking earth beneath their feet, the humming soil, the trembling air. The human child sobbed harder, louder. Her breaths turned frantic. She gasped, hyperventilating, her little body shaking violently. "Breathe, little one," the father urged, kneeling beside her. "Slow down, please, just breathe." But she couldn't hear him. Her world spun. Her arms went limp. Her braid fell across her cheek. She collapsed into the grass, unconscious. As she fell still, the hum had faded. Quiet returned to the forest. The rabbits stared, shaken, having witnessed the beginning of something they could not name and could not quite understand.
My eyes fluttered open, my mind swimming in a strange haze. I drifted in and out, my thoughts a jumble of sleep and memory, unsure what was real. In this foggy state, a face hovered above me. Mom's, her soft brown hair framing a gentle smile. "It's okay, kiddo," her voice whispered, echoing in my ears, warm and familiar, but it slipped away as I sank back into darkness, my body heavy. I saw a campsite, the orange glow of a nearby fire making a large, dark brown, feathery shape glisten in front of me. Suddenly, it turned. "Human!" It grumbled, its dark, beady eyes piercing into me. Its laugh echoed in my mind. It raised a talon and stabbed my chest above my heart. I stood frozen, helpless, dropping to my knees. Blood, deep red, spread across my body, warm and sticky. I looked back up to now see a tall, dark, glue-mine figure. the one from St. Joseph's, its head tilting slowly, glowing white eyes fixed on mine. Its hand pulled out from my wound, and I began to sink, the ground turning to a pool of blood beneath me. Then, in a flash, the figure vanished, and my mother appeared, frail as she'd been in the hospital, reaching for me. "Don't let," her voice rang, then abruptly muffled by blood surrounding me. I sunk deeper, fading into darkness. I jolted awake, gasping, alone in a bed. The jarring sensation of drowning in blood lingered for a split second before fading. My breathing quickened as I tried to calm myself. Vine-covered curtains were drawn around me, and the smooth wooden walls, lit by soft lantern light, gave the room a warm, comforting glow. I sat up, my heart racing, hands clutching the soft sheets. My eyes darted to the corners, frantically searching for someone, anyone. I felt a tight hug as I shifted. My gaze dropped to my chest, and I froze. A large, broad leaf, stained with dark, dried blood, clung to my skin just above my heart, where Drock's talon had sliced me in the meadows. My fingers brushed it, expecting a stab of pain, but found only smooth skin beneath, just a bit sore to the touch. I peeled the leaf back slightly, revealing a large reddened scar. A cool, translucent blue substance shimmered on my skin, like a thin layer of ointment, its faint floral scent tickling my nose. How long have I been out? The escape from the Nocturne camp felt fresh in my mind. I winced, remembering Drock's attack, then Kai and the others tackling him, tearing him off me. I recalled being carried to the cart, and Tully's lifeless body after Drock slammed him to the ground. Tears welled up, blurring my vision. I blinked them away, staring at my new scar. My cheeks flushed as I realized the leaf was the only thing covering my torso, my hoodie and shirt gone, leaving me bare beneath its wide, papery edges. Embarrassment surged, my breath catching as I pressed the leaf back down, tugging it snug against my skin to keep it in place. When I pushed the blanket aside to stand, a sudden wave of dizziness washed over me, just enough to make the room tilt for a second. I caught myself on the mattress, swallowing hard. My wound is almost gone, but my body still felt weak and floaty, like I was moving through water. As I steadied myself, I noticed another leaf bandage wrapped around my ankle beneath my leggings. The edges crackled dry. I peeled it off easily, revealing smooth, perfectly healed skin where the swelling and bruises had been. I reached down to touch it, expecting pain, but felt none. Standing again, more slowly this time, I scanned the room for anything to cover up with. Crumpled, blood-stained leaves littered the bed and floor. My scuffed black shoes sat neatly tucked under the frame. Kneeling made my head swim again, but I pushed through and spotted my folded clothes beside my backpack. I grabbed the backpack first, heart pounding until I found the tin box resting safely at the bottom. A shaky breath escaped me. My t-shirt lay folded on top of the pile, torn wide across the chest where Drock's talon had struck. Probably too tight with this bandage on, so I pushed it aside and reached for my hoodie instead. I slid it on carefully, wincing as the slight soreness was felt through the bandage from my movements. A jagged tear beneath the hoodie's shoulder revealed part of the bandage, and the fabric felt coarse and stiff in places. I touched it and realized it was dried blood, the deep black of the hoodie disguising it. My hands trembled as I sat on the bed's edge, slowly lacing up my shoes, the weakness still lingering in my arms and legs. Confusion swirled through me, thick and disorienting. Where am I? Ivory? A shaky voice called softly, breaking the silence, and I snapped my head toward the sound. The curtains around my hospital bed shifted, the thick green strands of the vines catching the warm lantern light, and I froze, one hand gripping the soft bed sheets where I sit, my other hand pressing down on the bandage through my hoodie. The walls of smooth, dark wood glowed faintly, the air thick with an herby, earthy scent. But all I could focus on was the silhouette peeking from behind the curtain, a large, hunched figure, ears long and drooping,